Well, I first met Paul 29 years ago. I didn't really know a lot about him other than he was really friendly and nice. Paul's parents met at Drake as freshmen in 1902. Paul came to Drake in the fall of 36. I take it back, in the fall of 35. And except in World War II, when he was sent to the South Pacific, when the government sent him to the South Pacific during World War II, he's either been a student at Drake or worked at Drake. So he's been here for about 80 years.
And then when he retired about 20 years ago, and in between that time too, he had been preserving Drake history. One of his favorite things is, and he takes great pride in that, is he developed a database chronologically for all of our former athletes at Drake, letter winners, and that has about 5,000 people. And that's what the database is. Some of them, of course, are deceased, but he tries to correspond with most of them. Right now, I think we have a database of about 3,000 that we have good addresses for, and he tries to do personal letters to each of them, when he corresponds with them. And then his other hobby is he, of course, makes scrapbooks of everything that pertains to Drake that comes out of the Des Moines Register. He's done that for probably 40 years. He has been retired for about 20, but comes in every day. Has started to take Fridays off to, what he says, rest his 97-year-old legs. One of his famous sayings is, "We make history every day, but we don't necessarily record it." And so I think he just wants, when all's said and done, that we can come back and have a history of Drake athletics.
What do you like to do?
Oh, keeping a scrapbook.
Okay.
A Drake scrapbook, that is. I've done that since, I guess, from the time I came and started to work in 45. We've got a big scrapbook of newspaper-sized page scrapbook, that everything from the Des Moines Register and the Tribune. We had an afternoon paper early on, so that anything that was in those two papers went in there. And then I also keep another smaller scrapbook for stories in papers other than the Des Moines paper. By the sports, football one, basketball one, relays one. So I guess that's probably my major hobby, is to just maintain those scrapbooks.
That's amazing. Are they around here?
Yeah, and really, it's I'm speaking sort of egotistically now, but over the years, it's very important to have that history,
No, he's always been a behind-the-scenes kind of guy. He's very humble. He doesn't bring any spotlight to himself, and he's still that way to this day. So I always knew growing up that he was hardworking and very, very dedicated. I mean, that was without question. But I never thought of him as a big deal, just because of his humility. I think he's just endured, and he's been, true to his passion, and his passion is so evident to everybody that I think that's why he's kind of beloved by everybody. So I've certainly realized that more and more, and certainly just the fact that he's lived as long as he has and still has such a sharp mind, is pretty unusual. So I think he's getting more recognition for that, quite honestly, here more recently.
And when alumni come back, the first thing they want to do is see Paul, and so they come back no matter how long they've been here. I'll give you two examples and Paul has a legendary memory. I mean, legendary. So I'll give you two examples. So when the Knapp Center was first opened in 1992, a lot of alumni would come back when they were in this part of the country because they wanted to see it. And so in the summer of 1993, I was touring this couple around, a middle-aged couple who were Drake graduates, And so I don't remember the guy's name. I think his name was, I'll just say Bob Smith. So he was a golfer here. He had graduated in '67. And he said, he wasn't, he lettered a couple times, but he wasn't like famous. He wasn't like big time. Okay, so we're walking through the Knapp Center, and he sees Paul, and he goes, "Is that Mr. Morrison?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Do you think we could go over and say hi to him?" And so I said, "Sure." And so we walked over, and I said, "Paul, this is," and he looked at him, he goes, "Bob Smith, didn't you play golf here in the mid-'60s? That's what his memory is like.
Can remember.
Oh, yeah. I was not blessed to get his memory.
I have an expression that I use. You make history every day, but you don't always record it. And so I make sure that Drake's stuff gets recorded.
We have former student athletes that will come back and they know about the scrapbooks, they know about the videotapes, and they'll say, "Could I look at a scrapbook? What do you have on my era at Drake?" And a lot of times, not all the time, but a lot of times we can find that. And it makes them happy, it makes them feel good. We try to accommodate them as best we can, but not so much now because it's in such a disarray right now. But we had a gentleman come, and he worked probably a couple of years volunteering, and he kind of put things in order here, and then he passed away and has kind of gotten back to not being so neat and tidy.
But it's amazing how much history is in here. It's incredible.
Yeah, it is, and to know that it's his love of Drake, that's why he does it.
His title's Drake Historian because he's come to work every day since 1987 when he retired. 2 days after his wife passed away, he was back at work. So he would say that Drake has a lifelong love affair with him and his family.
It shows.
It does.
They'll haul me away someday, and that'll be it. Otherwise, I want to stay here and do what I can to help the situation.
Well, thank you so much.
Oh, glad to. Hope it works out all right for you.